I know you gonna dig this.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT.
Twin Talk Podcast.
So I've recorded my feelings about this. I think this is the third time. I almost forgot because each time I've come to record this, I've been like kind of sporadic all over the place with my day, and I'll ignore that I wanted to do a little recording, and then all of a sudden I'll be drunk at the end of the day, and I'll be like, you know what? In my like drunken days, I feel like talking, and I talk and I'll look down. It's been 20 minutes of me talking, and I don't even remember turning it off. And so then the next day, I turn it on and I listen to me talking, and dude, there's such a thing to be said for self-reflection and just looking back on your writing, your like a lot of art pieces that I make. I won't look at them for like a year until I can come back and look at them with fresh eyes. And there's so many fun things I noticed that pop out that I wasn't thinking about when I was drawing or painting. And I don't mean like I created something by accident. Well, I guess I kind of mean that. I just mean that when I'm drawing a line, I'll draw something and I'll think, God, I want it to look a certain way. Why won't it look a certain way? And I'll get very frustrated with it. And then later, after I've forgotten what it felt like to struggle over wanting to get a certain look, when I can just look at the art piece as itself, I start to go, oh, you know what? The thing that I thought was going to stand out weird, that doesn't stand out at all. And the thing that I thought was like drawn really perfectly, it actually really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And so creating art, there's always this, I feel God, what's the word for it? You just have to remember that the viewer isn't going to look at your work the way that you're looking at it while creating it. And that, I think, has been my biggest hurdle in anything I've ever created, is that I lose that thought. I'm drawing and painting and I'm thinking, because I think this line isn't straight or is too thick or is too thin, the viewer's going to look at it and they're going to go, damn, Ian, you didn't know to make that thinner? You didn't know to make that thicker? You didn't know to like not add that? What's wrong with you? But just like, God, there's so many other examples I can bring up. People look at art. Let's just keep it at art. People look at art as the whole. And, we can go to like art historians or art teachers, people with like with a trained eye on art who could break down an art piece, and they could, instead of just looking at it as the whole finished product, they could look at the piece as, oh, I can imagine what the sketch was like. I can imagine that like that's where the artist got lazy, and that's where they had the most fun painting and drawing, and you can start to pick things and pull things out. And I just forget that I shouldn't be thinking the viewer is gonna see it like I see it. And when I think about that and I draw, I feel so much freer. And I feel it works so much better. God, that was an unnecessary tangent. Because what I'm really trying to talk about is like, I shouldn't get drunk and then think that I could just ramble about my art. I sound like a fucking idiot. I was listening to the audio the next day and I was just like, I was frustrated with how I couldn't keep an idea coherent. I would start talking and the slur, it's that drunk slur. That it's such an embarrassing sound to hear. But so I would turn the audio on and I'd start to hear these things and I go, oh, this is disgusting. But there's a part of me that went, Ian, just listen to it. Because this is a lesson you need to learn. If you want to do anything, you can't just do it drunk. You can't just be like, oh, I got drunk and now I'm just going to like record some stuff and it's no big deal. No, it's all a big deal. It all comes back to the greatest life lesson that I didn't have instilled in me when I was young. Move with intent. And having to like, I understood the concept of intent when I was in high school. It's not hard to understand. But like I always say, there's understanding something and then there's like feeling it. feeling it deep in your chest. There's fucking, you can read books about the horrors of war, but then you go to Afghanistan, or you go somewhere and you experience war and you come back shell shocked. You can't get shell shocked from watching Private Ryan. It's just like, you have to feel something to really get it. And so, for me in my life, moving without intent has led me to a place where I've flopped out and fucked up and had to look back and go, oh, I was missing the intent. Oh, and now I get what that means. And now I feel it because I lost. It's hero's journey type stuff. Hopefully. The hero's journey, I feel like, is a very idealistic way to look at life. It's a good structure to build a story or a movie or whatever, but I think most people in life don't have a hero's journey. Most people, I think, live and die on their ignorance, and that's just kind of what most of human existence is. If most of human existence was like a true hero's journey out of a movie, I think human society as a whole would be in a much, much better place right now. And so, whatever. But damn, 6 minutes. I actually wanted everything I was saying to be 6 minutes long, so I haven't even started talking about what I turned the mic on for. But let's get into it. So I've been ignoring talking about my art after I finish it. I was really intent on trying to do little 5, 10, 15-minute podcast episodes where I create a piece, I post it, and then I talk about it and post that. I feel like they're both two different kinds of art pieces. And a lot of times, I think that artists say that you should leave... I think artists try to leave interpretation up to the viewer for a few reasons. And I need to talk to more artists because I could just be saying this out of my ass and from a biased standpoint. I mean, I most definitely am. But I feel like one of the biggest reasons is that they don't want to be forced to decide what their work is. And there's something noble about that. Like if your art is your children, imagine somebody coming up and asking you, like, what's your kid? Tell me what your kid is, define it. And you go, that's my kid. My kid isn't me. My kid's gonna have to like decide what they are, and my kid's gonna have to affect other people in life, and then those effects will reverberate back to them, and like you can get like a full picture of who the kid is. And so there's a part of me that looks at artists who don't want to define their art, and I respect that, because you want your art to live and have a life. But man, I don't know what it is. I just have a sneaking suspicion that like most artists are full of shit. I'm almost certain that most artists are full of shit, or they're trying to look like an artist, or something like that. So I really lean towards you don't want to define your work because you're either scared of what people will think you are, you don't really know how to talk about your art, or God, what was it? You want to play off of the ignorance of the viewer. So I've had art pieces I've made where this happened like a dozen times a day when me and Adon would sell art on the street in Boston. People would come up, we would make art in like mass. So it's really just like, a lot of times there was no concept at all. It was just us going, all right, put down color, and I want to draw this character, and you line work, and we produced a lot of cool things, but it wasn't high concept. And so a lot of times people would come up on the street and they would see the work, and I've had people say weird ass shit like God, it's hard to make something up, but they would basically have an emotional experience with the piece, and they would look to me and go, basically saying, you definitely did this for the emotion that I felt. You're beautiful for that. And I don't want to take that away from somebody. I don't want to look at them and go, no, I drew this just because I was on my 30th art piece of the day and I didn't really know what else to make. You don't want to say that. And sometimes it can be fun to say that, but usually I think a lot of artists with art want to let people have the experience they're having, not because it's like a genuine artist, like, ooh, it's different for everybody, but because it's easy to, I don't want to use the word grift, but saying I don't want to use the word grift kind of means I'm using the word grift. I don't know what else to use. So I'll lazily and probably in the wrong way use the word grift. Artists want to be able to like to just go when you love the piece, we're like cool, that's it. I don't want to ruin this by trying to tell you you're wrong or something like that. It's hey, if that's what you felt, it is what it is and it's beautiful. Art has a lot of areas in it where people bob and weave around definitions so that they can do things like price an art painting for like $1 million when really it's something that your kid can do. But ooh, God, this happens so much. I'll be talking and as I'm talking, there's a part of my brain that's trying to hold on to 4 or 5 different points that I want to hit, and as I hit the points, I'll get to like point number 3 and I start to forget point number 4 and 5, and it's very frustrating. But I just have so much to say. That's why it's now been 10 minutes and I haven't even started talking about the art piece that I want to talk about. I like Midori Bug a lot. She's really fucking cool. And over, what has it been, a couple years? Maybe it's been a couple years, or maybe it's been a year and a half. I can never tell. Whenever I get into a good friendship with somebody, time becomes irrelevant. Same thing with like a relationship. Like my longest relationship was like 9 years, and I was, for the most part, so happy in it that once it was 9 years, and she broke up with me. I looked back and was like, whoa, that was 9 years. Oh my God, I didn't even realize. But so point is, I see Midori Bug as a really good friend, and she asked me if I could make a tape cover for her. She makes beats. She does OnlyFans. She's just artistically inclined. She loves animation and stuff, and she makes beats. I just listened to the beat tape for like a third time before I came to talk about this because I wanted to have the feeling that the beat tape gave me listening to it. It's called Choose Your Weapon, which I really love. She was asking if that would be... She wasn't asking me specifically. It was like close friend story. She was asking if it was a good title. And I asked her... I think the title name is dope. It makes me... It's one of those titles that like immediately I start to imagine things. Or I want to get ready. I'm like, oh, what's coming? She said that... Let me just get the words that she used. I wanted this tape to be a little sad, but it feels cinematic to me, if that makes sense. And at the time, I thought, that's really cool. And then the tape came out, I think, a week ago. When I listened to it when it came out, I went, oh yeah, there's a huge cinematic vibe to that. I love that. It's really awkward sometimes when you're talking to somebody about their art and somebody will say something very profound about their own work. And then you go look at their work and you're just like, I do not feel that at all. I don't know why you think that. I guess you're narcissistic or you're really up your own ass about your work. But I do not feel what you're putting down. And so when she said it's cinematic, I was like, ooh, I hope it's cinematic. I don't want to listen to this and be like, you weren't hitting the vibe, bro. She hit the vibe. It's very cinematic. It also has, like, I see why she said she wanted the tape to be a little sad, but it feels cinematic. In my head, when I hear that sentence, I go, well, sadness and cinematography can commingle. Like, we have a million movies about sadness that are extremely cinematographic or whatever. But when I listen to the tape, it's like the sadness is like a... It's like the sadness is like a garnish on top, or the sadness is like a spice all throughout it. Like, it's a what's the word? Bold, vibrant tape with undertones of sadness. And I really, God damn it, I keep almost using vibe, but it's the only word that felt right. I really vibed with the tape on that point. I could listen to the tape over and over again and just like let it be good background music while I paint and draw and things like that. I probably will do that in a little while because I really, really desperately need to stop like being plugged in. I've always, when people say unplug and like don't pay attention to the news, I've always seen that as like ignorant and fucked up. But I never really took the time to have appreciation for sitting in silence. Or even not silence, like just putting on classical music or something that just keeps a tone. Sorry you had to hear me hack that up. I got a sore throat a few days ago, like a real sore throat. And I've just spent the last 4 days hacking up loogies and like trying to what's that called in your throat? The nodes? There's something in the throat that was swollen. And I've just been trying to like drink chicken broth and like get over it. But oh man, this is gonna kill me. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah. I could really listen to her tape while I work and stuff because I've been needing to unplug and not I when I'm working and drawing, I always have like the news is on, not like CNN, NBC and stuff like that, like independent news people on YouTube, or like I'm watching media stuff, like what new movies are coming out, like inside gossip about like Marvel and DC productions, or like I'm just or somebody wrote like did a long YouTube video where they like want to discuss the differences between like Mickey Mouse from past to present. Like I just put on a ton of random shit, and I've been having to realize more and more that I'm using that as a distraction because it's really hard to just sit in silence and just work with a very focused goal. This comes right back to intent. I've been enjoying myself instead of moving with intent. And so it's great that like of, many things that I'll be listening to, Midori Bug's tape is going to be one of them. So I didn't make the whole cover. I made a character for the cover. You could go to her Instagram, fuck Midori Bug. That's FUKMIDORIBUG on Instagram, and you'll see the tape up there. It's like the first post right now. I did the character on it, but I love the way that she filled out the rest of the cover. There are only a few changes that I would make. So if you go look at it, if you're looking at it, here's what I would change. I would make the words "choose your weapon" bolder or brighter, but I'd make them stand out in some way. And I would probably put like a violet, pinkish purple line around the outside of this entire character that I drew for her, so that it really pulls away from the background. The character is very has green hair, and the skin and the headphones that the character is wearing are like, peaches, yellows, oranges, some spots of red. But I feel like this could pop more. Or does it pop enough? I don't know, because art is so subjective. Either way, though, I love the tape. I think she did a really good ass job. It's not so, you don't always find somebody who's like when they do multiple shit, they're actually good at multiple shit. She's actually good at editing and designing. She's actually good at taking photos and the editing. She's actually good at making beats. It makes me happy to be a part of one of her tapes because she's made more in the past. She's gonna be making more in the future, and just I'll always be able to come back to it and go, I'm happy that I'm a part of this. Rarely am I making art pieces that I like in the last year and a half, but this one though, mad proud of it. Mad proud of it. I was trying to do something different with this. And maybe it doesn't look so different in the look, but as I was making it, I was trying to like push myself away from doing things that I would normally do. I was trying to use thinner lines. When I did the eyes for the characters, very anime, very kawaii. I was looking at some examples of like how other really well-known Sorry, reaching for a napkin. My nose is just running like Usain Bolt. I was looking at examples of like how other manga artists do eyes, because there's so many ways to do it. And if like go back to the beginning of this podcast audio, what I was saying about art is that it's really hard to know how the viewer is going to see the work. And with eyes, it's one of those ones where like I'll see an eye in an anime, or I'll see like an anime artist just make a really beautiful eye that pops a lot, and I wonder, damn, how'd they do that? And so then I've looked up I've looked up process stuff on Pinterest or on Google or whatever, and I see people who have put up a step-by-step process of how to get like a beautiful shiny anime eye. And like they'll be like, first lay this color down, then you need this shadow, then you need this undertone, then you need this highlight, and you could break it down. And I've practiced, and I follow the step by step, and at the end I go, why doesn't this feel like the one that I'm looking at? What's different that I'm like not hitting it? And I still don't know what it is. And what I guess is that it's that thing, is that I made it, so it's hard for me to look at it without seeing it in its pieces. So the more I get away from this art piece that I made for her, the more I look at the eyes and I go, I can really enjoy these now. There's a lot of stuff that I'd still change. Like I tried to put this green star on the bottom left of the eyes, and I was hoping that green would connect with the green in the hair. And because the eye is more of like a reddish yellow, there's some purple and pink in there that's more on the red side. I thought that those would clash nicely, but maybe the problem is like it's too small, so it can't be as effective. And what I should have done is like I did a little star, and then I did like this light outline around the star. It's like that, it all kind of gets lost. And I think what I'm learning when I look at this is to not try to control so much. Let it get looser. Let it be a little bit bolder. Stop trying to like corral everything together, and I'll do this shape, and then I'll also outline it, and then I'll also put some shading on. Like, just let some bold spots hit hard. Yeah, so it's a piece that I learned a little bit from. Very happy. The headphones, I'm generally proud of them. They kind of look like they don't sit on the head completely right. Like, if you look at the ear muff of the headphone, it's a cylinder. It feels like it should be turned to the left a little bit more. And so the outside of the ear muff, it feels like more should be showing. It feels like the headphone is battling with being a complete shot from the side and a 3/4 shot. And so, that's just something to change. I've always had a problem with headphones. They're a weird thing to draw. So, Midori answered me. She said I could use some of her beats in some reels. And yeah, I'm glad. Okay, I think that's about it. If there's anything to talk about, I'll bring it up later. Oh yeah, there will be way more to talk about. I'm going to ask questions about what these beats mean, what the titles mean, because really, hey, the titles are a lot of fun, for one thing. Let me just read off the title list real quick. Let's go back. Where was it? Where was it? Where is it? I'll just go to her profile. We go in, Midori, profile, link tree. We go to the beats. All right, the titles. I really fuck with the titles. All the titles are one word, and they're spelled in different ways. The first one is Together with Utro, like Together with You mixed with intro. That's cute. I like that. House Fire, Nobody Knows, Baby Blue Panties _ clone, brackets, of my own. With All Due Respect, which I find funny personally because she'll do these close friends stories where she'll be like, "With all due respect." I know where that comes from, and I'll ask her about it. Say anything, messy, a flight to remember, damn, it's like that? Question mark is the last one. I think damn, it's like that is my favorite. I'll play like 2 seconds of it. We playing? Okay, that's just a little bit of it. But I think that might be my favorite one because I like that sample in the background a lot. It's eerie and it's a little comforting. It feels like if you've ever done shrooms, one of my favorite things to do on shrooms. All right, so there's a lot of things I could do on shrooms. This isn't my favorite thing. This is just a moment doing shrooms that I enjoy. I like being deep in a shroom trip, having a spliff, preferably because that tobacco hits different when you're on shrooms, and like a bottle of gin, and I like to just take shots and smoke the spliff and just chill. You don't feel when you're on shrooms. It's like alcohol has no effect until way later. It's the weirdest, strangest feeling, but that's what that beat reminds me of. But anyways, I said that I would. I kept saying I'll ask about it because a while ago I asked her if I could interview her because I just wanted to talk to her about stuff. I think she's got interesting ideas, and I think we can have a fun conversation. And now that I've done this cover for her, and I have all these feelings.